Okay, welcome to another episode, and I have to say, I'm very happy that this is episode number 25. So a few years ago, when my ex and I created the podcast, over the span of the time that we had were working on the podcast, I was traveling a lot, right? But we ended up with 30 episodes. So I have to tell you, like, holy fuck, this is episode 25, and I don't know. For me, it's a little bit of a milestone. I'm really happy doing it. I still get good feedback from you guys out there, so I will continue to do it as long as you guys continue to listen. As long as you can, continue to give me good, critiques. If you still have fun with it, then I will fucking keep doing it. And holy shit, wouldn't it be nice to beat him? Anyway, okay, so in this episode, which is episode 25, which is a big fucking deal to me, definitely appreciate you guys for it. I want to talk about first date number 55, and I want to talk a little bit about 56, a little bit about 69, and I want to talk about one of my motherfucking favorite knives that I actually bought for number 69, put it on my social media, and you guys fucking ripped the company apart, and I was like, what the fuck? So the company is Gerber. I want to talk a little bit more about Gerber and then their connection to the military and why it's a fucking good knife. Anyway, okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So, as you guys know, of course, right, went on dating apps, right? And I ended up being on a dating app for just under a year when I met number 55. So 55, if you guys remember, just to give you like a little bit of a memory, if you follow my Instagram specifically, or if you follow my social media, he's the geophysicist. He's the one that travels a lot. He's the one that was in Africa for forever. He's the one that, kind of somewhat the one that got away, I think, but in hindsight, not. But that's how I felt at the time. But the reason I wanted to bring him up is because when we met, we had like great chemistry. It was awesome, a lot of fun. And after that first date, which was a fucking amazing date, we had like good food, good drinks, we had like ice cream in the fucking middle of nowhere. It was like really fucking cute. And then we went to go see the Pennsylvania Grand Canyon, and that was the first time I had seen it. And it was like sunset, and it was fucking awesome. And it was really funny because we paid the $10 to go up the fucking tower that I almost fell down twice, but whatever. But it was fun, right? It was a great evening. And he had been single for a while. I obviously had been single for a while at that point as well. So things didn't work out for us in the span of about 5-6 months or so. But the reason I wanted to bring him up was because we had that great first date, right? We had like instant chemistry. Things were like awesome as shit, right? And then at the end of the night, like in person, face to face, like when we were heading back, to like, because we were driving together, whatever. And when we were heading back to go to our separate cars to go home for the evening separately, he was like, I know this is weird and awkward. He was like, I've listened to some of your podcasts. I haven't listened to all of them yet. And he was like, I don't know how I feel about being a number, being, kind of objectified somewhat. And we kind of laughed about it. But he was just like, but he was open to the idea of it, right? And he was just like, just give me some time to think about it. I'm not a huge social media guy. And he was like, but no matter what, Tracy, I don't want there to be a 56. And that just like warmed my heart, right? So we tried to make it work. And for a span of just under 6 months or so, give or take a few days, we decided it just wasn't going to work, right? But the reason I wanted to bring him up is because of like timing and like levels and stages, right? So within this span of 6 months, give or take, right, a couple days or so, he and I got along really well. He traveled a lot, right? So I didn't see him as much, but we did a lot of texting, a lot of phone calls, a lot of FaceTime, whatever, right? But within that span, even though I liked him quite a bit, I didn't feel comfortable enough to take like a selfie with him, like, together. And we only went out a couple of times with like other people. And I'm sure if I had asked, or if he had asked like one of his like, friends, coworkers, whatever that we were with to take a photo of us, I'm sure that they would have. But he's like a really private person anyway. And like I said, he's not on social media. So I was kind of like, I don't know. And then one of the last times I saw him, he was like, come on, let's take a picture. We haven't taken one. And I was like, no. And it kind of upset him because he was like, why? So we all have our own fucking issues and trauma and past and all sorts of shit, right? But I was just like, well, I mean, I like you and I'm not dating anybody else really right now. Like nothing seriously, right? Because we weren't like completely exclusive because we hadn't gotten to that point yet. I also felt like, okay, so being exclusive is a big fucking deal, right? Like when you have that conversation with whoever you're dating, you're like, okay, motherfucker, this is it. This is me, this is you, this is it, right? It's different. we had somewhat had that. We had talked about like moving in together. He was looking at houses. You know, I did a little bit of house shopping with him, whatever. We were talking about doing a lot of things, but the exclusivity, I can never say that word, exclusivity, there you go, was pretty much there, but it was a little gray. Anyway, so when it came down to taking a selfie, which I think for most people is not a big deal, for me, fucking former photographer, I was like, holy fuck, like I freaked out, like I didn't want to take a photo with him, and he got a little upset. And then I did a lot of thinking about it, and I was like, you know what, I'm just not ready to take it to different levels and stages, right? Because dating is ridiculous, right? There's like all sorts of terminology for shit. So like you meet people, right? And you're chatting, you're not really talking, and then you're talking, and then after you've gone through the chatting and the talking, so stupid. Then you're dating, and then are you dating exclusively? So there's like all these fucking different levels, right? And it's hilarious. And then depending on where you grew up and your age range, you're gonna call it different. Just like these stages are gonna be called different things, which is hilarious to me. Anyway, but the reason I wanted to bring it up is because with the span of about 6 months, give or take, right? I didn't take a single photo with him, and it's pretty funny to me now thinking about it. I didn't think it was weird at the time, but it was kind of weird. So anyway, so there ended up being number 56, and 56 actually I'm going to talk about on the fucking next episode, because I don't want to like make this episode super fucking long. But so 56 is a great guy, but he and I had no chemistry, but we're really good friends, right? So we've lost touch a little bit, but with social media, you know, we're still like around. We're still like each other's shit. He has like a girlfriend. She's cute. Of course, I think I'm fucking cuter. Anyway, but you know, like a comment, like and he'll comment or whatever. And he's a guy who taught me how to smoke a pipe. So I'm like, yeah, I like this guy, right? But we're friends, and we had no chemistry. We never kissed. We never hugged. Nothing, right? It was really funny. And we spent, I don't know, I think fucking four dates. Anyway. But the reason I want to bring this up is because there's the timing, right, that I find interesting. There's like the selfies that I find interesting, and there's different like stages of dating, right? So I just find it fascinating. I just like love the whole like relationship questions, you know, and like pondering things, right? Like yesterday on my Facebook, I put up that, you know, like a hypothetical question, like what if you're dating somebody and they have like a friends with benefits in their past and that person's still in their life, right? I find it interesting because I've never had one, right? But I can only imagine what it would be like or wouldn't be like. And I appreciated all of the feedback from you guys, because you guys were awesome about it, and you gave me more detail than I thought you were going to give me, which is fine, which is awesome. So I loved it. But I always find these questions fascinating. So I definitely appreciate it. So I guess for me, the reason I wanted to bring up 55, 56 and the selfies and the stages is because, of course, this all goes back to 69, right? So, you know, we had like that great, you know, Christmas Hallmark movie first date, right? It turned into a road trip. We figured it out actually because, you know, I saw him this like past weekend again, and it was fucking awesome. But we figured it out, right? So most people have like a first date that's 2 to 4 hours, right? On average, right? So we did a little bit of math, because he's like a math flexor. I'm like the not person that knows shit about math. So anyway, we figured it out. So with all the time that we spent together for the 2 weekends, because of course he lives fucking far from me, right? I think I want to say it was 196 hours, I want to say. So we decided that at the end of both weekends, we would be together or we would have had like 56 dates, give or take, right? So it was really fun to figure out, because we were like, okay, so we're getting coffee right now, because we saw each other fucking 3 days, 3 nights, like over the weekend, right? So that's weird. That's unusual, but it's fucking awesome. Like I loved it. Like I can't wait for it to happen again. But so we were like coffee. I was like, we're getting coffee. This is what normal people do on a date. So this is a date, right? So then like we went to run a couple of errands, which I think, you know, like you really like somebody when you have fun at the gas station or grocery store or whatever. So we're like, errands, this is a date. So it was awesome. So anyway, but the reason I bring it up is because we went to go meet a friend of his, right? And which was awesome, because that's one of the great things about, I think when you're trying to date someone or you're trying to start a relationship with someone, it's fun to like meet people that are important to them in their lives, right? Doesn't mean things will always go well. That's part of the fucking journey of it, but it was fun, right? So we like went to the store together. It was kind of cute, because I was like, well, I want to take something, because my mother didn't raise me to go to somebody's fucking house with nothing, like empty handed, right? So I love bourbon. So I was like, well, this is my opportunity to shine, to show off a little bit, right? To impress 69 a little bit, right? Unfortunately, it was a shitty bourbon selection in the store that we went to. Not to be a snob, but fuck, I learned a lot. Anyway, so I was like, fuck it, let's pick a whiskey that I've never tried that's kind of cute, which was decent. It was like a caramel whiskey, cute label, fucking forgot the name of the company. I'll post it if you guys give a shit. Anyway, it was decent, right? So, but the whole point of it to me was, I feel like if you're going to somebody's house, right, you can't go empty handed, right? We had fun. We were laughing, joking, hugging, kissing. He's like awesome with PDA, which I love. Anyway, so it was like a fun time, right? So we picked out the whiskey. I think he picked out a 6-pack of Corona, I think. Yeah, Corona and orange, because that's one of my faves and one of his friends' faves. So anyway, so it was cute. It's kind of like a cute couple thing, right? You're going to meet like a friend. So it's awesome. But the reason I bring it up was because he had talked about, he was like, yeah, so my friend wants to take a picture of us, and instantly freaked me the fuck out. So for me, because of the selfie and the stages and the levels and the timing and all that, I'm like, I'm having a great time with 69. I'm not dating anybody else. I'm not on any apps. Like, he's the only one I'm focused on. And we have had at this point, 50 dates or so, right? 56 at the end of the weekend. So let's just say this was fucking first date, or not first date. Let's just fucking say this was date 53. It's not unusual for the person that you're trying to date, right, to be like, hey, bitch, let's take a photo. It freaked me the fuck out, right? So the good thing about it was he was like really nice and understanding about it. His friend ended up taking a picture, ended up pissed me off a little bit because the friend put it on social media, and just got me a little angry, but that's fine. That's life. I'll get over it. But the reason it pissed me off was because I just wasn't ready for it, and I felt a little bit of pressure, and I didn't like it. Anyway, so I've come to the conclusion that I'm okay with it. So next time that I see 69, we're going to go ahead and do our first selfie. But the whole reason I wanted to mention that is just because I think the whole relationship, trying to figure shit out, is so fascinating. So it's, I'll definitely keep you guys posted because things are going really well. So speaking of 69 again, which perfect is a good fucking segue for my next thing, right? It's fucking Gerbers. You guys fucking hate Gerber knives on my social media. And I was like, what the fuck? I was not expecting that, right? I was talking to 69 on the phone. He had mentioned that he lost one of his temporarily. He has several knives, different, sizes, different purposes, whatever. And he had lost one. And he and I had talked about before of what I carry. One of my favorite fucking folding knives is a Gerber. I've had the fucking knife forever. It's a Paraframe. Anyway, so I was like in a store. I was in fucking Fort Drum, AFES or whatever. And I was like looking around because, window shopping, whatever. And then I saw like a little packet from Gerber. And it's really cute because I got a similar one from REI, which I fucking love for climbing. So it has like a fire starter and like a whistle and like a fucking pocket sharpener. It was really cute. And I fucking love Gerber, right? So I went ahead and I like asked him if he had a fire starter. And of course he does. So I was just like, I just, in the store, you mentioned that you lost yours temporarily, so this is a good price. Love this company, so fuck it, I got it for you, like, surprise, right? So I thought it was cute and sweet because I'm not one of the most romantic people on the planet, unfortunately. Everybody like has their own love languages and all that shit, which I don't know if I totally believe any of that, but we can talk about that later. But I was just like, it's cute, like I'm thinking of you, I'm in the store, you need a knife, it's a good set, I have a very similar one, fuck it, I'm gonna buy it, right? So I thought it was cute because I don't think I'm super romantic, right? So I put it on my social media and I'm like, hey guys, 69 bought me fucking 50 red roses, trying to be funny. I bought him like a little shitty, inexpensive Gerber knife set. But I was trying to be funny, basically, right? And it's actually not a shitty knife set, but you guys like fucking went off on Gerber and you went off on all sorts of knives. And I was like, holy shit, like I just wasn't expecting it. I definitely appreciate all of your opinions and advice about everything. And you guys are right. There's some fucking knives out there that are fucking awesome and fucking expensive. And I had that custom made one from Tim and it was fucking awesome. But holy shit, like leave Gerber alone. Anyway, so a little bit about Gerber, just so you guys are wondering why I'm so fucking obsessed with Gerber and why I'm all passionate, is for one, I get really fucking loyal, right? So about certain shit. Like I grew up with Crest toothpaste, motherfucker. I'm going to have Crest toothpaste until the day I die. Same thing with my fucking Gain Pods. I started buying Gain Pods I don't know, 2-3 years ago, whenever they started. I'm like obsessed with them. I don't even care how much they fucking cost. Anyway, some shit I'm just really loyal with, right? Okay, so Gerber has had like a strong relationship with the U.S. military for quite a while, right? So the company, I want to say the company started in like 1939 or some shit. But one of the things that I've always liked about them is they're not inexpensive and they're well made. So they used to be made in the US, and I don't know, 15, 16 years ago, they started being made in China for cost, right? So I know some people really are not supporters of that, and I get that. I totally understand that. If you don't want to buy something that's made in China, I get that. But one of the things that I like about Gerber is when I first joined the military in March 2009, I was issued fucking like Gerber multi-tool, right? Because I was an engineer, and I had it for the longest time, and unfortunately I lost it in Italy, but it does not matter. My point is, I've kind of grown up with them in the military of like it's kind of like a common thing, right? So for the most part, as an engineer, you always walk around with a pencil, and you always walk around with like a fucking Gerber multi-tool set of some kind, right? So I had mine for quite a few years. Traveled with me to quite a few, little countries, because when I was an engineer, I did travel, but they're always short stints, right? So Haiti, like Panama, Guatemala, Belize, whatever. My fucking Gerber multi-tool went with me and served me really well. At one ceremony, actually, I think it was when I was about to be combat camera, leaving my engineer unit, one of my squad leaders pulled me aside and was like, "Hey, Mac, do you have a folding knife?" And I was like, "No, I just have like the fucking blade of my, fucking Gerber multi-tool." That's the other thing too in the Army. You don't even call it a multi-tool. You just call it a Gerber. Everybody fucking knows what you're talking about because they're so common and they supply so many fucking knives for us, military speaking. So I was like, "No, I don't have a folding one." He's like, "Okay, cool." And I'm like, "Why?" And he's like, I just want to fucking know, go away. I'm like, "Okay, whatever," right? Damn, right? So whatever. Went about my little specialist life. And then it was like a reserve weekend. And at the end of the fucking like last final formation, everybody wants to go home at that point. It's like Sunday. You're tired. You're grumpy, whatever. Like you're like over Army shit. And they decided to do an award ceremony, right? So I don't remember why, but they gave me an AAM for something. And then my squad leader was kind of like, "Yeah, so my name was like different at the time, but he was like, "Yeah, so specials, get over here," whatever the fuck he called me. And then he was just like, "Yeah, I just want to thank you for all the hard work you did in Haiti." He was like, it was a good mission. We got more accomplished than we thought we were. You actually documented it because I used to like photograph shit for fun. And he was like, "So here's a brand new, it was still in the package, brand new Gerber, black folding knife, and motherfucker, I still have it," right? So it was really cute and sweet, and I don't carry it because it's a little heavy, but fucking that Gerber will like last me the rest of my life, and I fucking love Gerber. So basically, you guys are right. There are some fucking knives out there that are higher quality, but fuck, I love Gerber, and if I can kill you with the pencil, it doesn't really matter what the fuck, my knife is. Anyway, if you guys have any questions or concerns about anything, as usual, please let me know what you're thinking. I definitely am still enjoying the podcast. It warms my heart when I hear back from you guys, especially if I've cheered you up on a sad day of some kind. I definitely want you to know that more importantly, I'm here if you ever need anything. You're not alone, specifically veterans. Fucking here, and bye.